Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's May 29th, 2023. I'm about to give you a bit of a garden update, but Thea's been over here working in the greenhouse. Say hello, hon.
There you are. I'm looking at you under the beam there, honey.
you can...
I'm playing in the greenhouse, organizing the pots. Sold some trees this morning. Everything's good. Life is good.
Thanks, hon.
You're welcome.
That's my wife for you, Miss Bubbly Sunshine. Okay, so not a lot has happened in the gardens this week, but we have been busy, and Thea's really been getting things going over in the nursery there, and we've had a few sales, so that's been pretty good. So let's take a look at what's going on in the western garden plot. So yesterday we did a lot of weeding. So these are the honeyberry plants here around the perimeter. Just take a look. They need to be pruned yet, but getting them weeded. And we've got the drip tape down here. So they got watered last night, and I did a trial of it yesterday. So we got the drip tape right around. And the honeyberries go right down along the fence line here. Pretty happy with them. Got some pruning to do. We'll do some mounding or stool layering as well, and then get our weed mats on. Blueberry bushes are doing well. You can see some of the berries here. The bees have been going crazy, but it looks like we're just about done with the flowers for the blueberry plants. Thea did pull back the weed mats and got a lot of the rusty staples out. Our soil pH was between 6.5 and 7, which is way too alkaline for the blueberries to thrive. So, and again, all of these beds I amended with peat moss with our older compost. And so the soil acidifier is a slow release, and hopefully that will help out a lot. Then we'll get our weed mats back up on here. And they're gonna have to be acidified this fall again as well. So we got 1, 2, 3 original rows from our cutting plants that we had probably 5 or 6 years ago. These are the 2 rows of blueberries that we transplanted last fall, and they all seem to be doing pretty well. Thea did pull out some of the chamomile and transplanted them along over in here, and we have the lupine here as well, and some more weeds. So the blueberry beds are looking good. Pretty happy with that. Honeyberries are looking good. Yesterday I got the drip irrigation hooked up over here for the thornless blackberries, and they're doing okay. When I did knock off some of the new growth, so some of them will get hit back here a little bit. And I'll have to pick the rocks up from in here. But this is too close for traditional thornless blackberry plants. They all need, we've got the T-posts here at the end. I'll string up some support wire, which we use electric fencing wire to do it, non-electrified of course. And that'll help to support the primocanes as they emerge. And so this is what's left of a florocane, this one here. And this is a primocane right here coming up now. So, and the primocanes are just starting to emerge. And the ones that I dug up the other day from the area where we used to raise the thornless blackberry plants, those pots, there's probably, I'd say 75 to 80% of them are looking pretty darn good so far. So pretty happy with how they're looking. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at the central garden plot. I've been working on ways to try and water some of the trees and bushes that we put around Pond 7 recently and down by the canal system by the beaver ponds, because we're probably going to have another drought like we have had for the last several years. You can see the grass is I'm sorry, the grass is already starting to brown a little bit. We tend to have those big rains in the springtime. You can see just how it starts to dry out. So it's probably been almost 3 weeks without a drop of rain. Fortunately, the cover crops, we haven't got these irrigated at all, but they're doing pretty darn well. And these are the ones that we put in after the crops last year, and these are the two that didn't get a chance to develop very much, and they're doing great. And I think I'm going to let them grow out this season. You can see so many have already gone to flower. Some are getting ready to go to flower and then to seed as well. And I don't know if I'll try to harvest some of the seed or just let them go. So now over to the western garden plot to see, over the eastern garden plot to see how everything's going. So we posted a video probably just over a week ago with, sorry about the noise there, getting the hoop trellis here set by composting, then placing the soaked, what are they? They are scarlet red runner beans at about each one of these posts that are about 4 inches apart. And they were put up there. Then we put cardboard down and put wood chips on top of the whole mess, and got the drip irrigation hooked up. I just got it hooked up 2 days ago, I think. So that's been good. The other thing I would say is, amazingly, with all the geese that we've got around here right now, we have lots of goslings. I don't know how many in some of the families, but they're in groups now, so there'll be 20, 30 little goslings. And the parents will be outside of this fencing, but they could still fit through these holes down at the bottom. The babies can, and they're in here loving the clover and the chamomile. Yes, chamomile. Here we are. Here's the progress on our garlic. So we're just about at the end of May. So here's a garlic scape just getting ready to emerge now. And so pretty happy with that. Garlic's looking pretty good. We haven't replanted our paths here yet. I've got some more weeding to do up here in between the two raspberry beds, but here's some of the raspberry plants at this point. So they do get shocked a little bit, but from the transplanting out back. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with how well they're looking so far. Now the Dutch red shallots, they're doing well. Pretty darn happy. The amount of growth here, and we've got the drip irrigation going on them now. Darn mugwort. There's no end to the roots on those. And this is where the russet potatoes were, and I will replant in here. I went ahead and terminated the cover crop that was there, and I think that there was still a bit of a russet still in there. So I'll get this bed ready in the next couple of days for planting the potatoes, get them out of the root cellar. And so this bed was the common, was this, I think that this was the, it might have just been the winter rye over here. Boy, I'd have to go back in videos and see. You can see some of the chamomile, the low-growing chamomile in the path here. I really do like the chamomile and the clover. And the winter rye, although it's starting to come back here some, this is where the sweet potatoes will be. And have to get those in pretty soon. The sweet potato slips from the 3 plants that we had last year, they're over in the coop there, and Thea's got them sprawled out so that the vines can all start to send down roots, so we'll have individual plants along in here. So probably within this next week, I'd like to get some of the sweet potatoes in if they've got enough root development. The strawberry bed. a few weeks ago, probably a month ago now, I went ahead and dug up the strawberries that were in a big clump up here, spread them out so they'd be down the center, and they can send the runners out to each side. So they're looking pretty good. Most of these are June-bearing strawberry plants rather. And of course they're starting to produce some berries now, which I really don't want. Then over here in the other handicap bed, we had the partially rooted shoots from the thornless blackberries plants last year in the fall that we transplanted. And there's a couple that are showing some growth. So we'll give it some time. Again, I just got the drip irrigation hooked up. So there'll be a few in here that are viable. And of course the drip tape is standing up right now because the sun is baking down on them. It's getting really warm out here. Yeah, so there's a few in here. Then the honeyberry, those little stubs that I stuck in here, we got some honeyberry growth showing up. I need to pull off these flowers. Oh, dang it. And hopefully these guys will start to send up some roots. And then the sad thing is a lot of the oak trees that we put into buckets last fall, we posted the video last fall, it was probably in November, and out by the compost pile, and then we put them into the greenhouse to overwinter. Well, the roots of most of these oak trees did not survive, so we only have we have like 4 little white oaks that are showing some life. The rest of them, boy, they aren't looking too likely to come about. So these are the white oaks here. These are some of the swamp white oaks. The swamp white oaks seem to be a little bit hardier with their roots not getting damaged so much. So we will have a few more swamp white oaks. Not a lot. There's still a lot of green trunk on these trees. A few here. Here's the bin with the most of the swamp white oaks here. And the chestnuts, the Chinese chestnut trees right in here, they're doing all right. Curly Cal, doing okay. These are the English oak trees. They're doing pretty well for the most part. We have a couple that don't look so good at all. And there we are there. And the sage is going to flower now around the Eagle Garden. The thyme is still in full flower right now. The lavender's been growing crazy, very, very well. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with how well the gardens are doing. We haven't had as much time to spend in the gardens this year as usual, with so many other projects going on, but pretty happy, content with it. I have rigged up a watering system for the trees down and back, the ones next to water, so next to Pond 7 and next to the canal. I don't have a watering system for up front because the trees are so close. I can't bring the trailer or have a big few 100-gallon tote like I used to do to bring around to water everything. So those ones we'll lose a couple of those English oaks up there, but we've got more to replace them with right here. So I think that's about it for today's video. I hope you folks are all enjoying this great Memorial Day weekend and staying safe. Hopefully everybody gets home okay, and we got a banded water snake going after a bullfrog over there. Sorry about that. And so I hope everybody stays safe, take good care of yourselves, and if you found this video of value, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and by all means, folks, stay safe and take care of yourself. I could say that a couple more times. Bye-bye now.